doesn't show. As if I had to tell you there was little left to say. Stood the conversation. They called here to tell me that you're finally dying through a veil of childish cries. Southern Manitoba.
You are listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about the work of John K. Samson. The work of John K. Samson is something that took me far too long to begin to fully appreciate. As a young person who wanted my songs fast from the moment I got into punk, John's songs in Propagandhi were not my most appreciated songs for many, many years, even though in my heart I knew his brilliance at his craft. And seeing the Weakerthans on September 26th, 2003 at the Creepy Crawl in St. Louis, Missouri with the Constantines is one of the most memorable shows I've ever been to. But I went because I wanted to see John from Propagandhi live, not because I was overly in love with the Weakerthans. But the band blew me away that night, and the band clicked for me in a way that they had not before I saw them live. And that happens with me. I need to see something live to fully grasp the power of a song. Propagandhi records are like that for me too, which I vividly remember with Failed States and Victory Lap LPs. But seeing the Weakerthans and John K. Samson live finally made me find my way into appreciating the band and saying, yeah, okay, the Weakerthans are actually super awesome. But anyone who has listened to this podcast for any extended period of time has seen that I'm still coming to appreciate John's work, and I am not being at all hyperbolic when I say that getting a cat recently has revolutionized the way I see John's work simply by listening to Plea from a cat named Virtute. Virtute the cat explains her departure, and Virtute at rest, while holding my cat and kissing his little head, as he snuggles in my arms. And John's work makes me understand the ways that we all rely on each other, and that we all have love to give, and we all deserve to receive love as well. I'm still coming to understand all of this about why John K. Samson's music is so important for so many listeners out there. And I want to learn more. And I feel that 38 is the perfect age to let John's music into my heart even more, because I'm ready, finally, for what he has to say. He's been beyond me my entire music listening life, and the further I creep along through adulthood and parenthood with all of its ups and downs along the way, John clicks with me more. So I wanted to explore that with someone who has always gotten John in ways that I haven't. So I am pleased to welcome Winnipeg songwriter Jacob Brodovsky to this special episode of Unscripted Moments, a podcast about the work of John K. Samson. For several years, Jacob has worked closely with John K. Samson and Christine Fellows in various ways involving songwriting, and I am delighted to talk with Jacob about his work with John during album pre-production, mentorship, and songwriting, but also his work with Jason Tate of the Weakerthans, who played drums, vibraphone, and synth on Jacob's forthcoming record, I Love You and I'm Sorry. After we talk all about the record, Jacob and I then do a little tour of John's work, going individually through John's songs and Propagandhi, including Showdown, Anchorless, Gifts, and Letter of Resignation, before turning our attention to the Weakerthans versions of Anchorless and Letter of Resignation. And then I had Jacob pick two more songs to tell me about, which you'll have to listen to find out which songs we discuss. This episode was truly a pleasure for me to do a career-spanning conversation about John with Jacob, who I can tell admires John with his entire heart. So please visit Jacob's music at jacobbrodovsky.com. You're going to love his work, I promise. So thank you so much for listening. Please enjoy this conversation with Jacob Brodovsky. Jacob Brodovsky, welcome to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about Propagandhi.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, I am delighted to have you here. Our mutual friend, Sam Thompson at Witch Police Radio connected us. And I just listened to your episode with Sam yesterday. And so I'm really grateful to Sam, and I wanted to say thank you to Sam straight away. I know that Sam has, promoted a bunch of your work on his podcast over the years.
Yeah, Sam was like an early champion of mine, which is super kind of him. He's also just a champion for everyone that makes music in Winnipeg, and I think he serves like a really important function as like not only giving folks a platform, but also sort of as a he's keeping a record of everything, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, he is like a very thorough, almost like an online spoken word zine that captures every story imaginable. Like his podcast is so comprehensive. It's really pretty unbelievable.
No, it really is. It really is. And I know for me, like, that was like my first interview ever was like with Witch Police, and sort of he provides that, that's a lot of folks. So it's, Sam's the best.
I love it. Well, hi, Sam. So Jacob, for anybody out there listening to our podcast who doesn't know who you are, I'd imagine that you're new to a lot of our listeners. And I was hoping you can just spend a second and introduce yourself a little bit to the listeners of this Propagandhi podcast.
Yeah. Hello, listeners.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. My name is Jacob. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from Winnipeg. I'm pretty, as like a sort of a songwriter, I'm very heavily influenced by Winnipeg songwriters, and sort of I like to think there's sort of like a bit of a Winnipeg genre.
Yes,
not of music, but of writing.
Yeah,
and I certainly subscribe to that. I also run a summer camp and a college radio show.
Nice. Who are some of your all-time favorite Winnipeg bands? Like, give me just like a kind of a brief rundown of some of your favorites. I know that you run the risk of leaving people out, which I apologize for putting you on the spot, but I'm just wondering if you can just say some of your favorites.
It's okay. I mean, number one band of all time, and if you've listened to any of my work, you'd know this, is the Weakerthans. I think.
Yay!
I love the Weakerthans. I think John is an amazing songwriter. I think the music that the band puts around his songs, it's the perfect vessel for his work. I love like all the G7 welcoming committee records are like just the whole thing. I loved it all. I got in, I was a little late, like I'm a little bit younger than those guys, so I didn't really get into that world until it was sort of already over.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really heavy into Greg McPherson when I was younger.
I emailed him earlier today.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Other Winnipeg artists. I love Imaginary Cities, Rusty Mattias. For current artists, I love Begonia and Leith Ross, who just moved to Winnipeg, and Voight Golden, and Madeline Roger, and Lucas Roger, and Field Guide. And Winnipeg, honestly, right now, I think there's something really, really cool happening in Winnipeg. There's a bit of a renaissance going on. It's sort of like the pandemic hit and everyone kind of panicked. In Winnipeg, we were like, oh yeah, we're ready. We've been staying inside for half the year, all our lives, and people just got really, really prolific and really productive, and just a lot of great music is coming out.
Give me a little overview of your discography that you've performed
on. So I've been writing songs since I was 12 years old. I played in a band all through high school. I'm not going to mention any of those releases because I don't want anyone to find them. I moved to Toronto when I turned 18, and I played in a band there. We never released anything. And then I moved back to Winnipeg in 2015. I released a solo EP that I recorded myself called Music from Big Smoke. And then after that, I formed a band with my brother and some pals called Kakagi. And we released 2 EPs.
Okay.
Before breaking up. And then our third EP turned into my second solo EP called 16 Years. And I've got a full-length record coming out imminently.
Nice. I know that Sam did an episode with you on Kakagi, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wants to find out about that band, they can go find Witch Police Radio's episode with Kakagi, and I think that would be a good place to start. Because you've done, is this your third appearance with Sam just last week?
Yeah, I believe so. I think we had done, me and Max. So Max is my brother. We had done enough. I mean, when we were interviewed by him as Kakagi, that was like we were in the thick of things. Had just come off an Eastern Canada tour. We were about to go on like a 20-date Western Canada tour. We were really, really going for it and killing ourselves doing it, frankly. And then the second time Sam interviewed me, I think we just sat in my car for an hour in a parking lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you How did you come to find that music was something that was so interesting to you so young? Like, did it just naturally happen for you and just clicked super young? And you're like, this is just the way it is for me.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like there's pictures of me as like a toddler holding a plastic guitar. I think more so than music, I love attention. So
It's very
like
honest.
I was always I like as a kid, I was always like putting on shows in my backyard and like forcing my parents to watch and stuff. And I got pretty heavy into musical theater as like a really young kid. And then as I got a bit older, realized that I didn't really want to be a part of that, but I loved music. And when I started writing songs and starting playing in bands and yeah, but it's always been a constant for me. I was never a sports guy. I started playing guitar when I was 6.
Excellent. Well, I found an article about your work in the Winnipeg Free Press.
You've done your homework.
Thank you. I am a little obsessive when it comes to this podcast, but it also talks in that article about your affinity for, names that are relevant to this podcast: Greg McPherson, John K. Samson, names that come up over and over again on this podcast. And, I'm wondering what, drew you into that sort of scene within Winnipeg and how you kind of like got into that realm and like what that entry point was like.
Yeah. So I vividly remember the first time I heard the Weakerthans, and
Nice.
I actually have to credit my dad. He would drive me to school every morning. And my dad's a big music guy, and he would always show me new stuff. And I remember him and his buddies every Wednesday night go to the bar and play pool. And they've been doing that for like 25 years. And I think back then this would have been in, like 2000, 2001.
Mhm.
I think they were at the Rendezvous and they saw the Weakerthans play. And I remember that the next morning, the Thursday morning, we got in the car to go to school, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to play this band. I think you'd really like it. The drums are really cool."
Mm-hmm.
And he put in Reconstruction Site and the first tune, Manifest, and that sort of weird, like kind of marching band snare drum roll thing that Jason does.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like really hooked on that and really interested in that. And as like a 9 or 10-year-old, these 2.5-minute songs really sort of spoke to me. And then as I got older, I sort of stuck with it. And then I remember, being in grade 9. So I'm like 14 and, you're hormonal and emotional and everything's a huge deal. And I was walking home with my iPod earbuds in and listening to Left and Leaving for the first time. And the song Left and Leaving, the sidewalks are watching me think about you, and just being like,
Yeah.
and then, I just sort of grew from there. And sort of, the Weakerthans was really the first band that lyrically really spoke to me, that I identified with. And then also because I was from Winnipeg, it was sort of a band that could be mine. All of my friends were into Red Hot Chili Peppers or Foo Fighters or whatever, or harder stuff or lighter stuff. And it was like, like the Weakerthans are mine because they're writing about streets that I know and experiences that I share. And they play, and when they play locally, I can go see them. And and then it was sort of the same with Greg McPherson, just sort of like, as you come to love a band, you learn more about them, you learn about their peers, you see who's sharing, who they shared bills with and stuff. And so, I got really into Greg McPherson, I think because I knew that Jason had played drums with him. And then I didn't come to Propagandhi until much later in life, to be honest. I love their work too. It's a little bit harder for my personal taste, but I certainly appreciate it.
Well, you mentioned the setting of Winnipeg. And so a little story about me is this past October, I went to those 3 Propagandhi shows at the Park Theater in Winnipeg.
Yes, I just listened to that episode this morning.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And so I was walking in this park a couple blocks behind the Park Theater. There's just like a park like 3 blocks behind the theater. And I was just walking in circles, and like it was just like Weakerthans was just like playing in my head when I'm walking through this park. So like I totally clicked with the music in a way that in a level deeper than I had ever been able to because of the setting. And so I totally understand what you mean, how being in a certain time and place can make something click in a new way. Because for me, I've listened to Weakerthans for over 20 years, but it was just like being in Winnipeg and walking around this park by the Park Theater. I was just like, this is just another level for me at this moment. Does that make sense?
Totally. I mean, I think there's a humility and a self-deprecation that to Winnipeg in general, if you think of Winnipeg as an entity, and I think John just channels that so perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I love living here. I'll never leave.
Awesome.
But it's also terrible, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in Buffalo, New York. So
Yeah.
it's interesting and there's so many interesting things, but it's also horrible in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like we just had like a 7-month winter where it snowed. Like we won the city of the most snow in the entire United States.
Yeah.
So it's dark and it's bleak and it's cold and there's like rust belt, like decay everywhere. And so it's just one of those kinds of places where it's like, I live here and I like a lot about it, but it's also horrible at the same time. And that's kind of interesting. So I resonate a lot with Winnipeg in general, because I get a lot of the same kind of sensations when I talk to people who have lived there for many years,
Yeah.
So we're going to dig into some Propagandhi and some Weakerthans stuff here in a little bit, but I want to linger on John K. Samson because I know that John has had a tremendous role on your upcoming record, which you mentioned, called I Love You and I'm Sorry. And I want to know anything that you're willing to tell me about John's role in your new record. Like, I just want to hear stories about working with him and anything about the process of making this new record.
Sure.
And I just want to hear stories about you and John working together. So lay it on me.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long while. So it basically started, you could sort of make the argument, it started in 2015. John and his wife, Christine, who is also an amazing writer.
I have her record, Roses on the Vine, in the other room.
On the Vine, and she's got a new one coming out soon.
Awesome.
They were the writers in residence at the Winnipeg Public Library. And so you could submit your work to them, and you could sign up, and you could meet with them for half an hour and they would critique your work.
Cool.
And so a friend of mine sent this to me being like, dude, you have to go do that. Because because he knew how much I love the Weakerthans. And so I did, and I met with them, and everyone, like, the whole don't meet your heroes saying, I think that just like doesn't apply if your heroes are from Winnipeg. Because anyway, John and Christine, they were just like so kind and open and generous with their time, and did critique the hell out of my stuff. Like, it was nice. It was great, and then after I left, and so we did that, and I left. And actually that night, I was too embarrassed to tell them. That night, my band was playing a Weakerthans tribute set.
Nice.
Which I was almost like embarrassed about. And then they emailed me a couple weeks later saying, hey, we really enjoyed meeting you. We're putting together a sort of writing group of a few of the folks that we've met through this program to do like a weekly critique session for 6 weeks. Would you like to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I would. I think I had a trip actually booked that conflicted, and I canceled the trip.
Yeah.
And so I met with them for 6 weeks. There was 8 of us in the group, and each of us would bring lyric sheets of a song we'd written, enough lyric sheets for everyone. And we'd play the song, and then we'd go around and critique each other's work. And it was amazing.
Wow.
And again, just they're like, John and Christine are so gifted as writers and artists, but also as teachers and facilitators. And so it was really a really lovely experience. And as someone that like just wanted to connect with them so badly, I showed up early and I left late every week, basically.
Yeah.
Just to try and get an extra 5 minutes of hang time or whatever.
Yeah. I would too, for sure. No doubt.
Yeah. And like trying to be not too like that guy, but
right.
Whatever. I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I was writing so much because I was I'm so motivated by trying to impress people. It's like, this is my one shot to like play John Samson my songs. I'm going to try and write the best songs I've ever come up with in my life. So I was there a lot. And then the last day we had this recital where like our friends and family could come and watch. And so my girlfriend at the time, now wife, came, and then I'm trying to remember. And then somehow John's like a pen nerd.
Mm-hmm.
He's really into pens, and so is Lexi, my wife. And so she like made a comment about his pen, and so like the two of them were like chatting and like whatever. And I was kind of standing there awkwardly, and then John sort of noticed me, and he goes, "Oh, Jacob." He pulls out a little piece of paper and scribbles down a number, and he's like, "I've really enjoyed working with you. This is my cell number. I don't officially have a cell phone, but I do, and you should text me sometime, and we can go for a coffee."
Sweet.
And then we did, yeah. And so that was sort of the start of our friendship, and we we would hang out every couple months. We'd go for a coffee or a walk, and I would email him ideas and stuff, and he would give me feedback. Sometimes he would send me stuff, and I would and not really give feedback. I'd just be like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. Please release that.
Yeah.
as soon as
Fantasy
possible.
baseball at the end of the world.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, okay. And he gave me some career advice too. I sort of asked him, I want to be successful, blah, blah, blah. How do you do that? And he's like, the only advice I can give you is to stop giving a shit.
Yeah.
And basically, if you care too much, it's not going to happen. And if you don't care, it might. I certainly didn't care. It did happen, for better, for worse. And, it is what it is, kind of thing.
Wow.
And yeah, we talked about touring and stuff. And then fast forward a couple years, there's this great organization in Winnipeg called Creative Manitoba that provides mentorship grants. So I figured, I texted John. I was like, hey, you want to be my mentor for a year? And like, the government will pay you and we can keep working together. He's like, yes.
Amazing.
And so we did that. And so basically, and then he called me and he said, I will do this on one condition. Cause we've been working together for a bit and like, I know your stuff, but like, you have to let me be brutal with you. If I'm going to truly like,
he said that to you.
He said, you have to let me be brutal. And that is the word he used, brutal.
Amazing.
Because that's how me and Christine work together. And it's the only way to do it.
Wow.
If we're going to be serious. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And so the same thing, he would come over, we'd sit and have tea, and my dog Mavis would sit on his lap, and he would just, red pen through my lyrics and stuff as mundane as like, oh, your tenses are wrong here, or the grammar's wrong, to we'd pretty much finished the record, and he goes at the end of it, I thought I was done. He'd gone for like 20 songs, whittled it down to 9. I was pretty happy with it. And he goes, yeah, it's almost there, but you kind of need to write a song that like encompasses the whole thing,
Oh.
And I did. But he was right. And I did. And it's the first track on the record. Anyway, so yeah, so it was just like the best thing ever, obviously, for me. I was like, he would like sometimes just like bike by my house and like drop off a book in the mailbox. So we've just like remained pals ever since. We like hang out at the dog park with our dogs. And then he put me in touch. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and then he put me in touch, or not, didn't like put me in touch with Jason Tate, who plays drums in the Weakerthans in Bahamas. But I'm a huge fan of Jason's playing.
Yeah.
And we live pretty close to each other in town. Actually, we're like, there's like a 3-block radius where me, him, and Chris lives. And yeah, I just bumped into Jason on the street one day walking my dog, and I was like, are you Jason Tate? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm a friend of John's. He said I should talk to you about playing drums on my record.
Nice.
And Jason was like, okay. And I was like, cool.
Sweet.
You want to like get together and jam sometime? He's like, okay. And then we did. And then we tracked 10 songs in his garage, and me and Jason too have sort of been working together ever since.
So did your record get tracked and recorded at Jason's house?
Yeah, we did all the beds. We basically arranged every song, acoustic guitar and drum kit, and just like that's the basis for every song. That's going to define the tune. And then so we tracked all that in his garage, just kind of like head to head, just sort of like staring at each other. And
right.
And then after that was done, I added bass and had some other friends play on stuff. But yeah, he co-produced the record. He was an integral part of it. And we play, he's like, my live show now is basically Jason and I playing a duo set of acoustic guitar and drum kit.
That is absolutely wonderful. So I want to go back to the brutality for a second.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples or like things that linger in your mind of times when you're working with and writing with John where the brutality did come out?
I mean, no, like yes and no. Like I think John was kind of overselling his, because he's such a nice person.
Yeah.
But there's just certain certain things just be like, he called me up one day and was just like, I've been thinking about it. I don't think this song works at all. And I think you should just get rid of it.
Sweet.
Stuff like that. That song goes to the graveyard, or this chorus is fine, but the rest of the song, no, and you got to start again. Or just like, it's 2020 and I don't think a straight white dude should be writing that line anymore.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of specifics, but nothing really comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, and it was brutal, could also just be honest.
Yeah. It could be like this song. This is never going to work. You should
totally
never play this again.
And I think what he was really trying to say is just sort of like, if we're going to do this, there can't be egos involved.
Yeah.
And that's what's so what's always I've been so taken by with John is just that his complete. It's like he's like got an allergy to ego. It's you know what I mean? Like he's so humble and so uninterested in talking about himself in any way.
Nice. So what tell me a little bit more about Jason and what he brings to the record. Like, what do you like about Jason's playing the most on the record or in general?
I mean, I again, going back to what I was saying before, like my first intro to the Weakerthans and sort of my endpoint was his drumming. Jason's got such I call it like, it's like a lazy pocket. Like he's just got such this like laid back pocket.
You can't fake that. Like it's really original to a player.
You really can't. And, he's not the perfect drummer for every gig, but like his playing is so ingrained in my brain that like I often am even unconsciously writing songs to his drum parts, just because those are the drum parts that I know so well and that I really love. And so arranging the songs with him was so easy because his almost every song I would play a few bars and then he would come in and it was like exactly what I heard in my head, because what I heard in my head generally was his playing anyway.
Yeah.
And he's just such a creative drummer. I've rarely played with a drummer that listens to lyrics or even gives, can I swear on this? Gives a shit about lyrics. Yeah, I guess that's a Propagandhi podcast.
Yeah, of course.
And he was so thoughtful and attentive to the lyrics and adjusted his drumming to fit that. And I think that's why, the Weakerthans and the work that him and John have done together since then, is so great.
And that comes up a lot on this podcast too. We talk a lot about the way that Jord plays to enhance and to back up Chris's vocal delivery instead of like playing with just the bass or something like that. Like Jord accents a lot of stuff on his drums to match up with specific vocal patterns.
Totally.
And emphasize certain lines and lyrics. And I think that Jason and John do that really well in the Weakerthans.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a very different way of looking at a band than most conventional sort of genres or musicians do. Like I've played with a ton of drummers. Winnipeg is there are so many amazing drummers in Winnipeg. I've played with a lot of them, and everyone is great for different ways. But Jason will slow the song down a little bit when the lyrics instruct it to.
Yeah, I love it.
He's not precious about anything. He's not. The biggest arguments him and I would get into would be him saying, "No, the song doesn't need drums."
Nice.
Or like, no, the song is good enough on its own. Like, we're not adding anything.
I love it.
And it was great. It was really, really amazing to work with him. And we've kept working together since.
So should we, do you want to hear a song from the record?
Sure. From mine?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What would you like for me to put here in the episode and tell the audience a little bit about the tune?
Okay. Well, here's a sort of a John specific song. So it's a song called Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
And I stole it from John. So when we were in that initial songwriter circle thing at the library, we were talking about what we want to write about, and he sort of in passing said, I really want to write a song where every line starts with likewise. I think likewise is a cool word.
Nice.
And I like frantically scribbled it down, and then I was at the Banff Center doing a songwriting residency where you're just sitting writing all day every day, and it's just like, the well had run dry. It was like week 2. I was like grasping at straws, and then I started fiddling around with this likewise thing, and then realized like, oh shit, like I stole that. So I texted John. I was like, hey, I accidentally wrote a song with your likewise idea. Here it is. I'll happily throw it away, but I'm getting a little bit attached to it. So let me know what you think. And if you like it, or if it's cool with you, I won't, and he was obviously very supportive of me. Like, that's great. And so, and it's been with me for a long time, but it's turned into, I think, one of my favorite tunes. And Madeline Rogers sings backing vocals on it. And she's amazing. Ashley Au plays upright bass, who also plays in John's band, The Winter Wheat. And then, it's Jason on drums and his wife, Julie Penner, on violin.
All right, let's hear Likewise.
You've changed. You're thinner. this strange? It's just dinner. You're on guard. I know I have myself to blame. Is this hard? We paused to ponder as the waitress came. Still I see you and I feel the same. Likewise, you replied. I was trying to make you understand. I was glad you arrived. Still I fumbled through my sweat-stained hands and said, it's so nice to see you. I can't believe it's been so long. Likewise, you replied. I heard you got kids. Heard you had a husband once. He hit the skids. I don't imagine that was fun. Your eyes roll. You tell me that's not how it went. How would I know? Couldn't even pay the rent. Still I think of you as innocent. Likewise, you replied. I'm the product of the life you chose. I'm not mad, just surprised. We sipped our coffee as the tension rose, and as my open mouth betrayed me, searching for a reason why. Likewise, you replied. I know I wasn't then. Time took its toll. Finally on my feet again. I'm older and I was thinking we'd be friends. Likewise, you replied. I've been searching for a different way we could frame both our lives. As you smiled, I spoke this truth so plain. You know, the one thing I can't shake is I never gotta say goodbye. Likewise, you replied. Likewise, you replied. Likewise, you replied.
All right, Jacob. So that was a wonderful tune and a wonderful overview of the process that you've gone through with John, with Christine, with Jason. I love these kinds of stories. This is the kind of stuff that the audience on the Propagandhi podcast absolutely loves. No detail is too small here. So I want to do a little tour of John's Propagandhi work with you. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about John's work with the band that he appears on for vocals. So we're going to talk a little bit about Showdown, Greenest Eyes, Anchorless, Gifts, and Letter of Resignation. So I just want to go through these one at a time, and then we'll do some Weakerthans talk after that. Does that sound like a good plan?
Perfect.
All right, so let's chat about, let's start off with Showdown, GEP from 1993's How to Clean Everything.
Seeing my reflection, an exterior of lies. I hope the shaky feeling doesn't show. As if I had to tell you there was little left to say. Stood the conversation colored blue. Girls with the greenest eyes, the first time you have kissed, our quiet softest sighs, a song for all of those who shot and missed.
Which is, the song, the John portion of the song originally appears as an acoustic song on his Slips and Tangles cassette.
Yes. Yeah.
Waking up each morning with confusion in my eyes, wind is biting through to wave hello, seeing my reflection an exterior of lies, hope the shaky feeling doesn't show, as if I had to tell you there was little left to say, it was still the conversation color blue. You were sitting down and you got up to walk away, tried to stay but I was right behind you, I was right behind you, I was right behind you. Searching in the stare I cannot bear, so close to helpless as the songs I sing inside me ring. The final words are boring, never touch. I know you whispered something in my ear, I couldn't hear you. Girls with the greenest eyes, first time you have.
And so I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about this song, how it came out, what you think about the approach they took to this song, and just your overall thoughts, because this is essentially what introduces John onto the wider punk rock stage, basically,
Right,
with Propagandhi early, like 30 years ago.
Yeah, I was 1 year old when this song
Yeah.
came out. Yeah, I was listening to it today. I mean, Showdown is an apt title, right? Because it's essentially a showdown between these two very different styles of writing and vocal delivery.
Yeah.
And both work incredibly well. Yeah, I mean, I was listening to it today. It's wild listening to, I'm so familiar with like the Weakerthans stuff and then John's later stuff. I've been listening to, like, this is ripe young angst.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's I was trying to find the solo. I guess, yeah, he released the on Slips and Tangles, there's the greenest eyes, but then there's also in Wellington's Wednesdays on Fallow, there's this reference to green eyes.
Oh, you got blue eyes, oh, you got green eyes, oh, you got gray eyes. Oh, you got blue eyes, oh, you got green eyes, oh, you got gray eyes. Oh, you got blue eyes, oh, you got green eyes, oh, you got gray eyes. Oh, you got blue eyes, oh, you got green eyes, oh, you got gray eyes.
Oh my
Right.
gosh,
Oh, you
I
got
totally
blue-
forgot about that.
Right. I wonder who it is.
Read that lyric. Is it right there in front of you?
Yeah, well, it's oh, you got blue eyes, oh, you got green eyes, oh, you got gray eyes, oh, you
Nice.
got blue eyes. Or is it Wellington? I think it is Wellington's Wednesdays. Maybe it's a different one.
Yeah, I'm jealous of your Fallow LP that you got there. I got to get one.
Got it from the source.
Nice. So any other thoughts on like that How to Clean Everything record, like that early Propagandhi sound?
I mean, I love it. It's just,
Yeah.
I other than like, I feel like I don't want to impart too much of my own opinion, because I don't feel like I have a good enough grasp of its context within the catalog.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just great Winnipeg punk music.
I love it.
It's, it's like hanging out at Mondragon and biking around the Exchange, and yeah, it's great.
I love that you bring up Mondragon. Sometime if you're really bored, you'll have to listen to the interview I did with Paul Burrows, who ran the
Oh, no way.
Mondragon.
Yeah.
He was on this podcast talking about the A Zone building there. and some history for that. So it was awesome to talk to Paul. I love all the way the stories kind of like circle back on each other.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's chat about Anchorless, the Propagandhi version.
That you're finally dying through a veil of childish cries. Southern Manitoba, prairies pulling at the pant leg of your bad disguise. So why were you so anchorless? A boat abandoned in some back.
So we got a couple years later, 1996, Let's Talk More Rock. The song Anchorless comes on, opening up with that boop bop. They called Here to Tell Me That You're Finally Dying.
That you're finally dying. What an opener. Like, just
I know.
let's grab the listener by the throat and like, yeah. And John is so good at that. Every song that he writes, that first line is just like, what the hell is he talking about? I gotta listen to this more.
He throws you in the middle of the action.
Yeah. And it's so good. I was listening to this in the car today. We were driving home. And as soon as it came on, I just like got so excited and started like vibrating the car and like air drumming. And my wife was filming me, and I was like, "Why are you filming me?" No, I said, "Who are you sending this to?" She said, "No one. I just want to show you how much of an idiot you look like."
I was surprised she didn't do like an Instagram story. She's like, look who I'm married to. Look at this. Look at what he does in the car.
Yeah, it's this 12-year-old boy trapped in a 30-year-old's body. But yeah, I mean, there's so many like, I don't know. There's so many like Johnisms in this song that's just like starting like, sunken cheeks and slender hands, grocery lists and carbon copied letters offer silence for my small demand. Like it's just I don't know. It's just, you could tell he's like figuring it out, but he's onto something. He's like, oh, this is my thing.
What do you think about the punky fast version on the Propagandhi record? Because it's just so. We'll talk about the Weakerthans one in a second.
Yeah,
but they're so starkly different. This one's only like 1 minute and 30 seconds, so it's a really fast in and out kind of version.
I mean, it's very like punk rock to put so much time and effort into lyrics like that, and then just to throw them at you so quickly so that it's like almost impossible to catch them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's such a, like, I don't, it's like, fuck you. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it works. I like the that like guitar chug thing. I'm such a sucker for, it's like it's funny, right? Because it's so similar to the Weakerthans. But it's just the difference in guitar tone, right? Like the Propagandhi stuff, it's a little bit more distorted. It's like a little more like Marshall Stack.
Yeah.
It totally shapes the song completely differently. It makes it a little bit more aggressive, which I think for John's lyrics doesn't serve them as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because his stuff is a little bit softer. It's a little bit more melancholic. It's a little more sensitive, maybe, a lot of his music is, I find it's like, it's okay that you feel this way, or, or like, it's okay that to have feelings and think about them and identify them. But I don't know, it's still great. It's cool. Yeah.
And you think about the popularity of 1990s Propagandhi, like in the Fat Records era of the 90s, when like Fat was like a zenith of popularity in the United States. And you've got this Southern Manitoba prairie pulling at the pant leg of your bad disguise. So it's got this like this hometown feel for it, like thrown right in the face of the listener who associated this band with like this like California scene that they weren't really a part of. And so it reminds everybody, we're a part of this thing, that this like this zeitgeist of sound that's going on, but we're from somewhere that's so far away, you can't even imagine how far away from here we are from.
Totally. But then there's lines like, the small town that you lived and died in. Like,
so
that
relevant to anyone,
right? Like,
yeah. Everybody knows those. Everybody knows that person. Let's talk about gifts.
My hand staring at the window as the sunlight prevents action, all the energy it takes to close these bedroom blinds. Wrote the selfish sadness on a bathroom wall, spent half the span of someone's culture rise and fall, but I'm as clueless as a drooling 4-year-old. Still hoping I might find the capacity to let you know I know you're lonely.
So there's no Weakerthans adaptation for the Propagandhi version of Gifts. However, My favorite versions of GIFs are played by John solo. There are versions of him on YouTube playing GIFs by himself, and they are stunningly gorgeous. And they're probably about 2012, 2013, these videos that I'm thinking now. But
all right, this is the Propagandhi song now. Wake up coughing, tired, with my face in my hand, staring at the window as the sunlight demands action. All the energy it takes to close these bedroom blinds. Wrote this selfish sadness on a bathroom wall, spent half the span of some lost culture's rise and fall, but I'm as clueless as a drooling 4-year-old. Still hoping I might find the capacity to let you know I know you're lonely.
We've got another fabulous opening line. Wake up, coughing, tired, with my face in my hands, staring at the window as the sunlight demands action. So tell me what your thoughts on what you like about GIFs and your thoughts on this tune, which never got turned into a Weakerthans song.
Yeah, and I think he plays this song often, or he would do this back to back with Anchorless. I think was a lot, right? In a lot of those shows. Yeah, again, it's one of the first, one of my favorite things about John's writing is he personifies things that don't need to be personified, right? And that's where he throws in the sunlight demanding action.
Yes.
That's so much, it gives you so much more than there was sun in my eyes because I'm hungover. You know what I mean? The selfish sadness on a bathroom wall. It's again, it's just like he's so tapped into something. He's, it's great. Again, like, a harder production delivery than what I would, personally choose, but like it still works. It's still great.
My Winnipeg question for you is: have you ever ridden the 18 North Main?
Of course.
Tell me about riding the bus up there in Winnipeg. Tell me,
right,
give me a story here.
Sure. So the 18 is a bus that goes from Keniston and Tuxedo Avenue, which is kind of like a bit of like a fancy schmancy, like affluent part of town.
Yeah.
All the way down Corydon through River Heights, which is like the upper middle class neighborhood.
Yeah.
Through Crescent Road and Fort Rouge, which is like the middle class neighborhood. Past Confusion Corner. And then it goes straight, and then it goes all the way down Main Street from like Portage in Maine all the way to the North End. I would wager that that line from One Great City, watch the North End die. That was written on the 18 bus.
Nice.
Because you literally like as you go down, you just watch the decay get worse and worse. But yeah, I mean I rode the 18 bus to school every day for 5 years. It's,
nice.
It's one of the main arteries of the city.
My friend Jamie, when I was up there in October, took me to see the Golden Business Boy, watching the North End die. So that was really cool to have that memory of seeing that in person, but also the plinth where the Queen statue was when it got ripped down with all the hands all over it, which appears on the back of the Let's Talk More Rock CD cover.
Right.
Which is really wild. Like all these things in my life have just like come together now. Okay. So we've got this next Propagandhi song, Letter of Resignation, which appears only on the side of a split 7-inch with FYP.
Takes a dried up ballpoint, lemon juice and water, keeps a diary visibly in the kitchen corner of the basement bachelor suite. There's a certain search for certainty, we'll never see.
And it came out on Recess Records, and it's an extremely lo-fi recording of just John and a guitar. And then there's also a Karen Brodine poem on this version, which is read on the Propagandhi version as the outro, but does not appear on the Weakerthans version. So I'm wondering what you like about this Propagandhi version of just like this, like almost like cassette tape bedroom recording of John.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a record of a time and a place, I think, yeah, I love the rawness of it. It's cool for me because I know the Weakerthans version so well.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also a tune that they would still play live, even years later. But to hear it like that was a real treat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I find it so interesting revisiting sort of some of this earlier stuff because it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's like it's quite it's both like ambitious and unambitious at the same time.
Oh, interesting. Nicely said.
You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like it's carelessly ambitious.
I
maybe.
think I get it.
You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like it's pretty deep, some of the stuff they're talking about, and like it's pretty, there's some ballsy lines, but it's very clear that no one gives a shit.
Yeah, my favorite takeaway line from this song is "in the empty stations of our empty lives."
Yeah.
That line for me is so vivid because the amount of times that I have felt crushing loneliness while sitting waiting for a train, it's just it's a feeling that you can't replicate any other way than like questioning your life choices while sitting on a platform or on a bench waiting for something to arrive because you have no control over when it arrives. It will arrive when it arrives. And if you're sitting there by yourself, it is kind of a despair-inducing experience where you really are like, how did I wind up on this bench in the dark, in the cold, waiting for this train? Like, how did this happen to me?
Totally. And it's also interesting. It's a rare occurrence of John writing about someone else. He doesn't do that a whole lot. And he actually once told me, he gave me a piece of advice saying, like, even if you're writing about someone else, use the first person because it makes it easier to relate to.
I see.
But it's interesting, right? In this song, he doesn't do that.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got these Propagandhi songs. We got Showdown, Anchorless, Gifts, Letter of Resignation. Two of these become Weakerthans songs later. So let's get into some Weakerthans versions of this. So we've got Anchorless that appears on the Fallow.
Shoebox full of photos, found a grainy mirror, sunken cheeks and slender hands, grocery lists and carbon, copied letters offer, silence for my small demands. Hey, how'd you get so anchorless? A boat abandoned in some backyard. Anchorless, the small town that you lived and died in. Got an armchair from your family home. Got your PG Woodhouse novels and your telephone.
LP. And to me, this is the definitive version of Anchorless.
Yes,
This
I'm glad
is-
you brought this one up first.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, and to me, 90% of that is Jason's drumming.
Okay, say more. Tell me what you like about the Anchorless
It's
Weakerthans
just-
version.
It's just I feel like the Propagandhi version, it's a little bit more metered. It's a little bit more like, this is the tempo and we are going at this tempo and this is the way.
Yeah.
And whereas Jason, it's just like a little bit, it swings a little bit harder and it leaves a little bit more room for the lyrics.
Yes.
Right. And it's a little bit more emotive. Like the guitars are a little bit janglier. Like there's just like a little bit, and it's not much. It's really not much. It's not that far from the Propagandhi version, but it's like there's just this little bit more like melancholy to it, which is the gut punch, right? Which allows the lyrics to just like absolutely destroy you.
Yeah.
And I think, John's also singing a bit better. I think he just he gets better at singing as time progresses, as we all do. But yeah, I think it was interesting listening to those back to back. I was just like, oh yeah, because now Jason's playing, and and it's just there's that Weakerthans pocket, that thing.
yeah, it breathes more. It's got
Totally.
extra lyrics. Like there's like a full extra verse of lyrics in the Weakerthans version. It's far more natural to me than the Propagandhi version, which feels very compact. Like you mentioned, it's like, this is the tempo we're going. It's very straightforward and very fast moving, but this one is really dialed back.
Yeah.
And the Propagandhi one always has felt to me like it was forced into being something that it wasn't supposed to be. And the Weakerthans version is literally twice as long. So it's double the length. But it's a totally recognizable version. Like it's not like it was completely changed.
No.
But it's double the length. And it just is a sprawling journey instead of something that like hits you in the face and then is in and out before you even realize like had a chance to catch your breath.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, the Propagandhi wasn't John's band, right? Like John joined
Right.
that band as a bass player, and it was already an established band at the time, and so it, you know, of course, like, you know, you're gonna try and sort of smush your stuff into it to make it work, but then on the fallow version, it's just like, well, this is a band that is designed for this,
Yeah.
right? Like that was purpose built.
I love it. Okay, so let's do Letter of Resignation, the Weakerthans version.
Takes a dried up ballpoint, lemon juice and water, keeps a diary invisibly in the kitchen corner of a basement bachelor suite. There's a certain search for certainty, no, we'll never see her hands touch childhood home in photos that she took. It's one more mission from a high school history book. A whole life.
Tell me what you like about this version compared to the original.
I love those little guitar licks at the boom, down, 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 down. The intro, just like some really nice production pieces on it. But again, you know, it's not crazy different. It's the down, like, right, like that sort of that Weakerthans chug guitar thing that they do so well, and they do, you know, on so many songs. But yeah, I think it's same as Anchorless. It's just a fully realized version. You know, it's just it's a song with its clothes on.
Yeah, you know, that makes sense to me. So I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm actually really glad that a full band Propagandhi version of Letter of Resignation does not exist. Like, I'm really happy that they never made a version of that, because then there's nothing to compare it to. Because to me, the Letter of Resignation Propagandhi version is a demo from a bedroom. And demos always become something else. So to me, the fact that Propagandhi didn't do a version of it leads me into the Weakerthans version with no expectations of how I'm going to compare it to the original, because I see the original as like a demo, like, you know, just in development that just happened to get released because I think the Propagandhi had a deadline to hit for a release that they had committed to. And this was literally the only thing that they had that they could submit. But it feels like it was always meant to be a demo, but I'm really glad that they didn't do a full band version, because there's no unsullied comparing to the original. You know what I mean? Like, whenever I hear Anchorless Propagandhi and Anchorless Weakerthans, I'm always like doing this mental thing where I'm comparing it to the other, even though I try not to, but it just happens against my will. But the Letter of Resignation one doesn't do that. I'm able to enjoy the Weakerthans version as a standalone version with absolutely no interference of my impression of the first version.
Yeah, totally. Same.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of other songs. I asked you to pick 2 songs that you wanted to talk about to tell me what you liked about them. Yeah. And I'm delighted and completely emotionally destroyed by your 2 choices. I was furious at you when you told me the songs that you wanted to pick, because these are songs that just break my soul in half.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first one. Let's get the real heartbreak right out of the way. Virtute the cat explains her departure.
It had something to do with the rain leaching loamy dirt, and the way the back lane came alive. How go. For a while I heard you missing steps in the street, and your anger pleading in an uncertain key, singing the sound that you found for me. When the winter took the tips of my ears, found this noisy home full of pigeons and places to hide. And when the voices die, I emerge to watch abandoned machines.
And I wonder if you can just talk to me about the importance of this song to you. Kind of like, you can refer to the other virtute as well if you want to, but like I'm just curious about your impression and the importance of this piece of work to you and what it means to you, just as a fan of music and as a colleague of John, and as somebody who respects his work, because this is really masterful stuff.
I couldn't agree more. So yeah, where to start? So for those that don't know, and I assume everyone that is right, this is part 2 of a trilogy of songs, charting, an owner's relationship with their cat, and the owner's sort of struggling. Is broad strokes. And I remember hearing the first song, Virtute, A Plea from a Cat Named Virtute, which is just a banger. It's like they close shows with it. Like, it's such a good song. But I remember vividly being 15 and being like, holy shit, he's talking about his cat. Like, oh, don't you ever want to play? I'm tired of this piece of string. Like, oh my God, this is from the perspective of a cat. What a genius way to write a song. Right. Yeah. And you're still telling you're telling a story about a person, but it's as seen through the eyes of a cat. And just like, what a genius thing to do. And then this song comes along on Reunion Tour, and you're just like, oh my God, this goes so much deeper than I thought.
Dude,
it had something to do with the rain, first of all, the first line of the song references the title.
I got chills. You just said that, and like the hair on my arm stood up. Like, ooh.
Oh, it feels so great to nerd about this stuff. A lot of my pals were all there. I mean, everyone in Winnipeg likes the Weakerthans, but
of course,
some not as much as I do. And so that first line references the title, right? It had something to do with rain. Well, what do you mean? What had something to do with rain? Oh, the departure. Like, that's right. Like, that's like a literary thing that most songwriters don't do. And then I can't remember the sound that you found for me.
Yeah.
The sound that you found for me as a way of describing a name. Just, and then how it's the production of it, how it just repeats over and over again. That beautiful lick that Steven does. It's just the perfect song. And again, such a great drum choice. It just chugs it along. It keeps it mellow, but it builds it so masterfully. It's just, it's one of my favorite. I think it's one of the most perfect songs that they've written.
Yeah. And I listened to this song over and over today, and the line, like the stanza that really jumps out at me the most from this one is, for a while I heard you missing steps in the street, and your anger pleading in an uncertain key, singing the song that you found for me.
Yeah.
And the anger pleading is like this, it's like this, anger. Oh, you stupid cat. Where are you? Come on out. Oh, when I find you, you're going to be in so much trouble. And then realizing with the uncertain key, the doubt that is behind the anger, that like the anger is like masking the despair that like you won't actually find this cat. And so it's like pretending like the anger is there on the surface, but the real thing is the uncertain key behind the anger.
Yeah.
And it becomes more and more desperate the more and more the owner yells the name.
Yeah.
And that just like messes me up big time, because I live on a super busy road and I have a cat, which you saw. His name's Chris, and he is a very naughty boy, and he wants to run outside desperately. I take him out in a backpack with a mesh screen so that he can be outside, but he goes for that door, man, when I go out, and someday he's gonna get past me. I know it. And so to me, this is
You're gonna
like
listen to that song.
this is like me in the street yelling for
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
And then, but then there'll be the doubt behind my voice that I'll never see him again. And it's just like really difficult to contemplate the reality that could
Totally.
/ will occur.
But it's also just like a metaphor for like anger in general. Like 90% of the time that any of us feel angry is to mask doubt.
Yeah.
Right. Like, or insecurity or whatever. And so it just works on so many different levels. And, yeah, I mean, John, he's just such an expert at, I mean, you know, I don't claim to know John incredibly well, but like from what the time we spent together, he feels things really hard, right? Like,
Yeah.
He's in touch with how people feel, and he's just so good at documenting it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a very, very powerful song.
Yeah. And then the earlier version, like a plea from the Cat, that one is talking about, to me, like the spirals that humans fall into and how those around us pay the price for our spirals.
Totally.
Like, when I got on the phone with you earlier, I was like cuddling my cat. Like he jumped in my lap, and like can't even imagine how many times a day he jumps up and then I set him down because I'm like typing something for work and I'm so busy and super serious. But then he jumped up right when I was getting on the phone with you. I was like, all right, I need to cuddle you right now because I'm feeling emotional because of this Virtute song, which is like reminding me that you deserve attention, that you need my attention, that you rely on me for affection, and that you are just as deserving of that, and you don't deserve to be put down 100% of the time that you jump up in my lap when I'm on my computer. So like this song is a good reminder for me as well to, realize that that this other living creature in my house needs me and I need him,
Totally. And it's funny. That's sort of the theme of my record too, is the, like, I love you and I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry for all the shit that I put you through, because you're someone in my life that, that is close to me. And I think, even especially in the context of the last half decade we've all been through or whatever, it's just like, I think it's super poignant, but he was tapping into that, 10, 15 years ago.
Oh God. Okay. So Jacob, you really you messed me up whenever you chose that song, but I'm so glad you did. I want to talk about this last song, the second song that you selected. You chose a song from Winter Wheat Requests.
Yeah. I want you to know what I forgive you for. Now that you're all ashes anyway. Every step into the river pushes you further away. I want you to hear the farm apologize.
Tell me, it's beautiful, it's quiet, it's a perfect song. I sat last night in my dark living room with this on my record player. I have the vinyl for this record, thank goodness. So I put it on and I got that full experience. My kid had gone to bed. I had a cup of tea. I was listening to it in like basically the dark. And I was just like, yes, I'm so glad he chose this song. And it's about forgiveness and after somebody passes away. And I'm wondering if you can tell me why you chose this song, and then tell me what you like about this one.
Okay, I got a few things. So I think Winter Wheat is probably John's best work.
Okay.
As a body of work, it's a bold statement, but I truly do believe.
Hey,
I think.
You are 100% entitled to hold all of your very hottest takes on the Propagandhi podcast.
I'm pretty sure Jason and I have talked about this, and I'm pretty sure Jason agrees.
Interesting.
I just think I think it's some of his most honest work. He really lays it all to bear on that record, and it's after a period of struggle, and it's I think it's really great. I think it's generous. There's a lot of songs on that record, and there's he could have easily put out 2 records or whittled it down to 7 or 8 songs like everyone else does now, but no, we get this full album that really runs the gamut, from spoken word to ballads to rockers to whatever. Again, going back to that thing about sucking the listener in on the first line, I want you to know what I forgive you for.
I know.
Now that you're all ashes anyway. Put me to sleep. Like just go away. Like, oh my God. Like, okay. I remember the first time I heard that, and I was just like, whoa, yeah, that's and I believe this song was commissioned for a film by Erica McPherson. I don't remember the name, but I'm 99% sure that that's why this tune was written.
Cool.
I want you to hear the farm apologize for letting you believe you could return.
Yeah, tell me about
so
this, because this is mysterious to me.
Right, there's so much in that line. So I want you, so we've learned from that one line, we learned that okay, so this character, owned a farm and things didn't go well.
Yeah.
Right, and that they also left.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also came back expecting more and were disappointed.
Ooh.
Right, like there's so much information with so few words. And then, I'm going to be a broken record, but again, Jason masterfully playing, just, light brushes, really simple. And I think that's the other thing I love about Winter Wheat is the production is so simple. It's so minimalist. There's nothing, everything now there's vibe, there's
right
6 reverbs, there's synths, there's so much going on. There's all this like ear candy for you to grab onto. And this Winter Wheat is a record where it's like, this is a lyric and vocal record with accompaniment.
Yeah.
And like, put on your seatbelt and listen.
I feel it's a brave move when people play less. I respect that a lot.
Absolutely. It's a brave move, but it's they're masters at this point, right? This is and that's where I really feel like it's his best work in that it's unapologetic, and it's just like, this is it. This is the art. This is how it is. This is it in its truest form. No one's wondering about how many CDs we're going to sell or how many shows we're going to play or whatever. It's just like, these are good songs.
I had some thoughts about this one too. This one, I hadn't really thought a whole heck of a lot about this song. I've thought about the other songs. I've thought about Virtute for years and years, but this one, I hadn't really put a lot of deep thought into. And, the things that we hang on to in our lives inside of us without ever expressing what we're mad about, we carry these things with us for years, like almost expecting a resolution, but then it's too late. And then you're like, talking to ashes that are floating down a river being like, I wish I would have told you why I was mad, because maybe then our relationship would have been better. And that's what that visual does for me. It like encourages me to be more communicative about things that disappoint me, that make me feel hurt, instead of hanging on to them for years and years where a resolution may never occur, Yeah. And then this song also has some thoughts about immigration as well. Yeah. About learning dreaming in languages that you couldn't learn. So I'm thinking about like a family who like a grandparent, was like the last speaker of a certain language in that family. And then the kids were just like, I speak English at school. I speak English with my friends. I don't really need to learn this old language. And then all of a sudden you're old when learning languages is hard. And then you're like, I wish I could speak Icelandic or Norwegian. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What song? I want you to write my name next to your name with the year. I was born and you began to disappear. I want you to take your time to disappear.
Okay, so that disappear line confused me at first. It threw me for a loop. So I was born and then like you began to disappear, meaning like the parent like abandoned the child and like ditched the kid, and like the kid was like didn't know the parent. But then I thought about it a little more and I was like, I don't think that's right. I think it's about the parent investing all of themselves in the kid's life so that the parent doesn't have as much of a personalized identity that is realized fully. It's like their whole life is about the kid. You know what I mean? Instead of them having a life too.
That's what I got from it too. Or like a grandparent that like, slowly descends into dementia or something like that,
Been there.
Yeah. I have one anecdote. So John played a house concert a couple years ago that he invited me to, and he just let the audience shout out requests.
Nice.
And so I requested this song.
Ugh.
And he sort of like, kind of laughed at me and goes,
nice. Cool. And he did it, right?
Yeah, he played it. It was great. I mean, it was obviously great.
Okay. Well, Jacob, what a tour de force we've gone on of Propagandhi songs, Weakerthans songs, and John's solo material, and the stories that you and he share together as collaborators and mentor-mentee type of relationship. How does the work of John K. Samson matter to you in the scope of your life? Tell me a little bit about like a general takeaway about, this person, personal, but also professional and artistic.
Yeah. It's funny. It's changed so drastically over the last couple, like as I've sort of gotten to know him, it's changed in a weird way, but it's also stayed the same. I think, his work is like an old, let me think about this for a second. It's hard to, so his music has always sort of been this like warm blanket that I can always return to when I need it. You know what I mean? Like I remember traveling and feeling out of sorts and putting on the Weakerthans and feeling grounded and connected to my home. And so it's always been that. And as I've gotten to know John, he also is kind of that, you know what I mean? Like he's been this source of support and, comfort at times. And he's just been, so in some ways it's sort of merged into the same thing. But I think for me, like, there's a unique, I believe, and this might not be the same for everyone, but for me it's true, and I think probably for a lot of folks, that the music you discover when you're 13, 14, 15 is just, it's in you. It has a different, like so many things that happen to you at that age, it has a different impact, and I'm not a doctor or a neuroscientist, but like there are brain develop, I work with kids for a living. And so, we know there are things that is happening to the brain at that age that are formative things. Yeah. Right. And so to me, the music that I discovered at that age and felt close to at that age, it's just in me, and it's always with me. And for me, that's the Weakerthans. And then I think compounding with that, the fact that I live in Winnipeg, the fact that I also write music, and have been able to make connections with these people, I mean, that's just sort of reinforced it. But it's just, it's the deepest musical connection I have really is to that material and that music. Those shows that I saw, those were some of the first, that was the first show I ever went to where it was standing room only, and I got to, get to the front of the stage and snatch the set list off the stage, it's just, those are important firsts. And so I carry it with me, and I feel crazy fortunate to have sort of formed relationships with my heroes. Basically, there was one night I was recording at Jason's garage, and we were drinking some whiskey. It was like a Friday night, and I'm like a huge lightweight, so I'd had like 2 drinks, and we were talking about something, and I just sort of blurted out like, I'm making a record with my favorite band. And then it sort of caught myself, just like, ah! and then Jason sort of like took a pause. He was like, well, yeah, that's how it should be. Yeah. But like, they're so kind and down to earth people, which is so cool. But also I think something that is uniquely Winnipeg. Yeah. Because there's you can't really be an asshole in this town. It's too small. And you can't really have an ego because you still live here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we there's the term Winnipeg famous gets thrown around a lot, but you can't have an ego because you're going to bump into everyone, always, everywhere. You can't act like a jerk because everyone you interact with knows someone that knows you. And so I think that there's just something special about the people that make art in this town, and how interconnected and sort of supportive the community is. I
love it. Well, Jacob, new record is gorgeous. I'm really
thank you.
grateful that you let me preview it before it's out. That
Yeah,
meant a
my
lot.
pleasure.
I listened to it in my kitchen while I was cooking dinner the last
Nice.
couple of nights, and it's absolutely lovely. And John's influence really does come through, but not in like a way that you're like parroting what he does. You know what I mean? Like it's like totally you, but like I can feel your admiration for his work and his influence that comes through in the music. And I mean that like in the most sincerely positive way that I can possibly say that.
You know, I really appreciate that. That's a big compliment to me, because for a long time I was just often dismissed as sort of, oh, you're just trying to do the John Samson thing, or oh, you're just trying to sound like the Weakerthans. And I kind of was. I kind of still am. But I appreciate that. Yeah.
But you're you. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't. I don't
thanks.
feel like I'm listening to somebody like covering them or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just feels, it's just such good feeling music to me. And
thanks so much.
the good sensations that I get when I listen to Weakerthans are there within me whenever I'm listening to your new record, especially. So,
That's very kind.
Jacob, where can people find you if they want to follow along and check out your stuff?
Yeah, I'd love that. I have an Instagram account at Jacob Brodovsky, Jacob Jacob Brodovsky, Bro BRO, Dov like dog but with a V, and then ski like sky SKY.
Awesome.
And I also host a radio show on CKUW every Friday called Let's Play DJ, and where I have a different guest on to play music that they like, and then we talk about it. I've had John on the show before. He chose a bunch of like Billy Bragg tunes and some really cool music.
Cool.
And yeah, and I'm on all the streaming services and Bandcamp, and new record will be out in the fall.
Are you doing any physical releases for the new record?
Oh yeah, I got vinyl.
You got vinyl.
I was talking about it with John the other day. He's like, "Oh, did you order vinyl?" I was like, "Yeah, I got 200 units coming to keep my basement company. So if anyone would like to take one off my hands, I would be more than happy to." Yeah,
are those pre-orders available?
Not yet. They'll be available, and depending on when this airs, they'll be available end of May, probably, or end of May, mid-June once I get them in. But yeah, the single's rolling out soon, and just trying to get all my ducks in a row because I'm really bad at the business side of things. But it's coming, and yes, there will be vinyl, and it's got a picture of my dog on the cover.
Love it. Well,
Yeah.
Jacob, thank you so much for joining me on Unscripted Moments, a podcast that today is about the work of John K. Samson. So I appreciate your energy and your enthusiasm to take part in this unorthodox conversation that I constructed for us. It really means a lot, man.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, thanks so much for reaching out.
To disappear.